All right, what's up, everyone? Great Monday today, and I hope that everyone is having a very, very good weekend, especially if you're still in the US or in Europe. I think it's early morning Monday for folks in the US. But at the end of the day, I think we are now moving towards the next leg. And I really wanted to cover this episode with the gold standard in crypto investing. I think everybody wants to find out what is the gold standard. I guess everyone in the past especially were always considering talking about networks, how many transactions were there, how big the community was, how large the market cap is, how much token supply there is, and we were all just trying to figure out what would be the best way or to value a cryptocurrency before we actually put our money in. Like, for example, why is Bitcoin $6,500? Are there many merchants using it? Are there enough miners backing it up? Or is it because there's enough speculation in the market to justify the price? And we were all just wondering, what is the actual value of a cryptocurrency? Now, I think it all boils down to simple fundamentals that we have kind of forgotten or kind of put aside, because a lot of us, especially in this space, we don't really buy stocks, right? We don't even know how to value a stock properly. So I'm kind of happy that we are able to sort of move towards some sort of numbers, right? Because I think actual numbers is very important. I understand that there are certain companies that focus on growth models rather than revenue or profit. But that being said, I think every business at the end of the day should have products and services that people want to buy in order to be profitable or generate revenue. So in this particular episode or this example, I think I cannot find a better example, especially at this point in time, other than HUOBI. So I'm gonna just cover this not as to get you to buy HUOBI, but more of to educate you on how to value a cryptocurrency, especially as projects start moving towards the STO phase. And what is the definition of STO at the moment? Nobody knows, but apparently as long as you're kind of compliant to how the SEC views IPOs or stocks, I guess that's kind of the direction that most projects are going to move towards, right? And I think HUOBI at the moment is the most transparent in terms of cryptocurrency. Obviously, they are the third to the fourth largest exchange in terms of volume, and at one point they were the largest exchange in China. So I'm just going to cover it with the numbers and facts, and then from then you can gradually use this model. As we mature in the space, obviously there will be more transparent accounting standards, and then from then I hope to see that our viewers, our subscribers, our premium members will start to learn how to value or view cryptocurrencies and or tokens, right? And then from then they will make better decisions to create a portfolio for themselves, and it helps them to manage the risk. Okay, so let's get into it. Okay, so we are now looking at the very first slide, which is who are HUOBI. So HUOBI has been established since 5 years ago. Back in 2013, they were a crypto asset management company, right? And total till date, the accumulative turnover is USD 1 trillion. Okay, but I'm going to get you a little bit more excited, because this is not just the part of it. I think right now everyone loves the so-called token buybacks, and everyone does a token buyback. I think Binance does it, but HUOBI does it as well. And if you are, obviously it's kind of difficult for you as a US citizen to get involved with HUOBI, and I completely understand that. And I think HBUS or HBUS, which is the strategic partner for HUOBI, will kind of address that in the future. I'm not entirely sure because I don't use HBUS, but I think at the moment a lot of people seem to use Binance, and Binance doesn't have any restrictions to whether you're a US citizen or not. You can just use it, so that's why everyone is just pro Binance at the moment. But I want to find a cryptocurrency that is truly undervalued and at the moment not too expensive to purchase. And now with the full certainty of the word expensive and cheap, I am now able to kind of validate that with numbers. So okay, so they were financed by the Chen Fund and Sequoia Capital. Sequoia Capital, if you look them up, they're also really huge. They are invested in the tech space and they are VCs, obviously. Okay, so they are a digital crypto asset exchange, and HUOBI Group also invests in blockchain startups, and they are going to be creating their own public blockchain very, very soon. Okay, next we have the HT token use cases. So at the moment now, I think from the very get-go, the various token use cases are quite simple. So you have the VIP privileges, which you have to hold, or at least you have a certain amount of HUOBI that you need, right? So it seems expensive initially because it's not automatic, like you buy 10 Binance tokens and then from then, it allows you to have a certain discount on a trade. What it does is that you will lock up a certain X amount of HUOBI tokens for a given period of time. They're not gonna, you see, initially I thought that, wow, the VIP privileges for 1 month is like 12,000 HUOBI tokens. I mean, that sounds really ridiculous. I mean, who can afford that? But apparently, it's still expensive, by the way, in my opinion. Okay, this is the part where I'm still trying to figure out why did they set such a high benchmark, because if you're a retail investor and you had to kind of enjoy a 10% discount on trading fees, right? Why do I want to lock up 12,000 HUOBI tokens? So I'm just trying to figure that part out, and I think I kind of always overlooked asking them this very, very simple detail, right? But it's just locking the HT tokens up, and you will get the discount. And the moment that it passes, let's say you're only gonna just try it out for 1 month, and then after that it will return the HUOBI tokens to you, less of whatever that was supposed to be paid for the membership for that 1 month. So if you take 3 months, it's cheaper. 6 months, if you get a better discount, and the lockup is lower as the longer you decide to take the VIP privileges. But overall, the maximum that you can enjoy is 50% discount. Then you have HUOBI Next Voting. So HUOBI Next Voting is where you get to play a part in voting for the various projects that will get listed onto HUOBI. So yeah, so this is quite straightforward. Security deposits. So if you are a project and you are planning to want to list your tokens, there is a security deposit that you have to put aside, so that in the event that you do win, right, those who voted for you will get incentives from your project. That means your own project tokens, and at the same time it goes to the win-win fund, where you win as a project because you got listed. At the same time, those who voted for your project also will enjoy airdrops of HT tokens, right? Then at the same time, security deposits are a requirement for OTC merchants. So OTC just means over the counter. These are trades that are done so-called privately, and they are not on the order books of the exchange. So that's quite straightforward. Then you have the endorsers. I'm assuming endorsers are the VCs, right? They are holding the HUOBI tokens, and they hold a higher weightage in terms of getting certain projects approved. Not that they have the full weightage, but they carry more weight compared to the voters. Then you have global elites. Global elites is more of like a ambassador program, where you are someone who is helping to build the brand of HUOBI. So this also has its use cases, right? It's quite extensive, by the way. And then you have the HUOBI Global Ecosystem Fund that will probably appear more into light in 2019, when there's a full ecosystem. I would assume that there are the decentralized applications that are coming from the projects, and of course HUOBI is funding certain projects that it feels the most confident on. Yeah, so this is probably dedicated to that. Then you have the OTC legal support. HT holder benefits. Well, as a HT holder, apparently, especially when there is the buyback, as long as you're holding an X amount of HUOBI tokens, what happens is that they are now starting to calculate the amount of HUOBI you hold and for how long do you hold it. No longer is it, oh, I'll buy just 1 day to 1 week before the airdrop, right? So this kind of puts you in a position where if you really support the project, you're not going to own it or buy it up at the last minute. and then after that you dump it. Well, obviously every time that there's a buyback, the price will drop, but leading up to the buyback, you notice there's always a small little pump, and most solid or credible projects will not allow too much of a significant crazy pump. Like the recent one was from say 160 to about 190, so you have like a 30 cents increase. It's not that significant, but overall, I think they're looking at building a strong, solid ecosystem. So the next one, obviously, the use case will be the HUOBI Eco Partner Trading Zone. So this part, I'm a little bit not too familiar what exactly is that, but eventually they'll probably have more circulars or more details about what the Eco Partner Trading Zone is all about. Maybe it's another subset or another trading area for folks in the ecosystem. I don't know. I'm just wondering what that's all about myself. Okay, then next we have how are they dealing with the USD tether scare? At the moment right now, the good thing is that they have listed other stable coins, right? So you don't have to use USD Tether anymore if you don't want to. You can just swap to PEX, you can swap to True USD, you can even swap or trade with Gemini or GUSD, which is of course one of my favorites. And then you have HUSD, which is the stable coin within the HUOBI exchange. Now, the good thing about the HUSD is that it's pegging itself to the rest of the stable coins. So in the event that this happens again, another stablecoin scare, you just have to just unpeg it, and overall your USD or your fiat equivalent will be safe, right? And having a stable coin also helps folks who are traders or investors to not lock in or book profits, right? Because sometimes, if you go back to fiat, you record it as a profit and you have to pay taxes on that particular trade, right? So if you're someone who is an investor, you don't want to entirely go back to fiat, you can actually lock in a stable coin, and this is what HUSD is all about. Yeah, so I'm pretty excited about that. I think it's a very, very good move, and it's about time, right? So next we have, okay, so now this is the part where it gets a little bit more, I mean, it's not difficult to understand. Okay, so I'll just walk you through. So this is the token buyback schedule that has happened and how much revenue have they been earning. I think this is very, very important. This is the most important slide, in fact. So let's say quarter one token buyback was 15,865,930, right? And this was based on when HUOBI tokens were $1.70 based on the closing price on the 31st of March. Okay, so the total revenue that quarter alone was 79 million. Okay, 79.3 million. Then you have quarter two, which was 38,366,000. Okay, that's really, really huge. I think what's the most impressive thing is that the token buyback is sometimes larger than some market cap of various cryptocurrencies. I think any cryptocurrency that is below 50 million at the moment, and you're having this kind of revenue, it's so sick because this is the actual real deal we're talking about here. And of course, at the time, it was kind of like we were already sinking into the bear market. But as you can see, HUOBI came out really well, right? On 30th of June, which was the closing price, was 383. They used 20%. Oh, and I forgot to mention, the token buyback is based on 20% of the total revenue. So whatever revenue that comes in, not profit, but revenue, right? The total revenue that comes in, 20%. So you have a total revenue, on the other hand, on quarter two at 191 million. Okay, that is huge. All right, I mean, I would only salivate at that kind of revenue as a company myself, right? So, and then we have quarter three, which is 24.289 million, right? And that was on and the closing price was 194, which was pretty recent, on the 30th of September. So Q3, the total revenue was 121 million. And yeah, I mean, they are looking really, really strong, guys. Really, really strong. And of course, the year has not ended yet. So I'm pretty curious how Q4 will turn out. Usually, I don't think Q4 will be that awesome because everybody's taking a break from trading crypto. Actually, the volumes are very, very thin at the moment. We won't really know exactly how they'll fare. Okay, and then okay, so next, so what does that mean to you as an investor, right? Okay, so the total token supply at the moment is 500 million. The total revenue is 392 million, and the total buyback of the total amount that is used so far for buybacks is 78 million US dollars. This is all in US dollars, by the way. Okay, so how do we validate, right? So you look at the revenue per token. So you take the total revenue minus off the total buyback, and then after that you divide that by the number of total tokens. Sorry about the very ugly PowerPoint slide. I'm not the best at doing all this, but so you will basically have 300. So you will basically have a value of 62 cents, 62.8 cents per token. Okay, why is this important? Because as an investor, right, I want to know, like, is holding this token even worth anything, right? Okay, and a lot of the tokens that we hold, I cannot safely say that they are worth anything. Okay, I cannot safely say that because no one is declaring anything. No one is putting out any numbers transparently. Now, obviously, where did I get all these numbers? You can find them on HUOBI's website. You can just go down to the news, announcements, and then you can see the articles. Just click on, I will link it later. So you just see the buyback, the buyback schedule, and then you can see all these numbers. I didn't plug them out from the air. Okay, and now this is the part where it gets really, really exciting because now you have a market price, obviously, which is currently at 165, and the revenue per token. So this will give us our so-called earnings per share in the world of shares, right? In stocks, okay. But I would prefer to have revenue net operational costs. That means after you minus all the operational costs and taxes, okay, then I will actually know what is the actual revenue per share. Obviously, it's going to be lower, but it's kind of good to have something to calculate with because these days you're talking about the code, you're looking at GitHub. I'm like, so what? Are you valuing that every line is worth something? It cannot be that. Are you going to be valuing, for example, which kind of developers are giving it value? Well, that is obviously something intangible. It does help that you have folks that are more credible and has a higher status building on the blockchain and the kind of apps that are coming out from the blockchain. But what am I using it? I think money talks the best. Okay, money talks, and this is where money talks because right now, if you're looking at the share price, the actual price to the revenue is only 2.62 times, guys. 2.62 times only. That is so low. And eventually when they start showing their tangible assets, for example, maybe they own properties or maybe they have a very strong fleet of businesses or exchanges that are all running concurrently. Okay, these are the things that will build to the book value, which is something that will happen later. But I think as a tech company, you don't really care too much about book value. Although tech companies do have a book value, but usually the growth and the kind of ratio is just so exorbitant. So I would like to have had given you an example, say Apple shares trading at what kind of PE ratio or Google shares trading at what kind of PE ratio, but I really didn't have that time to do it. But at least right now, guys, you are able to see that, hey, this is something for us to work with, and you now can clearly say that, hey, okay, I'm now trading, this is at 2.62 times, it's not that expensive. As opposed to something that's been trading at 100x, 1000x, and you're blindly just buying it, like Bitcoin. How do I validate that it's 6,500? For all you know, it's valued at $10, and if you say that its actual value or revenue per Bitcoin, revenue per token is maybe $300, I'm like paying a ungodly amount, right? Because I'll take 6,500 divided by 300, right? That just shows that I have to hold it for God knows how long before I actually break even or have the chance to break even. That means the market has to just help me carry through that I make money. But if the market doesn't value it at that price, at least I have something to fall back on. And this is where I'm trying to get at, because right now if I'm only having a 2.62 above the overall market price but the revenue is solid and continuously growing, right? So it's a little bit early to say, but if we are looking for the fact that they did 1 trillion in 5 years, so that works out to about 250, wait, whoa, so it works out, yeah, correct, so it works out to 200, wow, that's 1 trillion, shit. Okay, the numbers are just so huge that it's a bit hard to calculate, but yes, but you get what I mean, right? So if it's 1T divided by 5 years, that is quite an insane amount of money, guys, and we have to monitor the growth. Is the revenue consistent, or is it stable? And even if it's stable, right, at least you know that you're getting a kind of a token buyback. Now, what I would hope to see is that these numbers are all being audited by reputable accounting companies, right? So these are the things that we need to have. So obviously, if you are an accountant, you're someone who is more familiar with all this, feel free to comment below whether or not are there crypto companies that are already being engaging all these accounting companies to really be true and transparent. This is kind of like where I like to see the space, guys. So from then, right, everybody starts maturing, everybody starts to really get smart about investing, and that's how it's supposed to be. Well, that is kind of like all I have for today. I hope that you find your own gold standard, and of course, let's stay safe and start investing in the space, guys. See you in the next video.